Welcome to Concerts in Cuisine, sponsored by the Montauk Public Library. I'm Michela Musolino, and I am delighted that you could join me here today in my music room, because this is where it all happens. This is where I rehearse with my bandmates, this is where I make all my concert bookings, and in these past few months of concerts happening online, this has become my broadcast station. And of course, since 2020 hasn't quite worked out the way anybody's expected, the Montauk Public Library has put together this Concerts in Cuisine series so that we performers can meet you, the library patrons, in the comfort of your own living room. And today, I am delighted and honored to share with you the music that makes my heart sing. And that music is the folk music of Sicily. And before we start making music, how about we hop on over to the kitchen and we whip up a dish that is as sweet and tasty as it is easy to prepare. Come on. I thought it'd be a lot of fun to prepare a batch of Panna Cotta. That's a traditional Italian dessert whose name translates to literally cooked cream. Panna, cream, cotta, cooked. But the name's a little deceptive because we actually don't cook anything. It's a tradition that's fairly young. It only dates back to about the early 1900s, and it's identified with the Piedmont, which is that part of northern Italy that touches on France and Switzerland. So you're probably wondering at home, why is she showing us a recipe from northern Italy if she's going to be singing for us traditions from Sicily? That's a good question. There are many food historians that regard Panna Cotta as the modern evolutionary advancement of the tradition of the bianco mangiare. And that is a milk pudding that was actually brought to Sicily by the Arabs when they invaded and occupied in the 9th and 10th centuries. And it's still prepared in Sicily today because it's so delicious. They're both milk-based desserts. The difference is bianco mangiare uses cornstarch as its thickener, so it involves cooking and there is some preparation involved. Panna Cotta uses gelatin, so the amount of cooking and the amount of preparation has been reduced to the minimum possible. There are only 6 ingredients in this recipe. We have a 1.5 cups of cold milk, 1/2 cup of heavy cream, 1/2 cup of maple syrup, and if you prefer, you could always use 1/2 cup of honey instead. You could use either or. 1 teaspoon of vanilla, 3 teaspoons of gelatin, and a pinch of salt. We begin with the milk. We don't need any heat right now, but we just pour the milk into our saucepan. Now we add the gelatin. We sprinkle it over the milk and then we let it bloom. So we let the milk sit for about 5 minutes while it starts to absorb the gelatin. While we're waiting for the gelatin to bloom, I'd like to give you a little bit of some background about Sicilian folk music. And I often say, once upon a time, everybody sang. Our daily lives had a soundtrack. And the first song anyone would ever hear would be a lullaby. So a Sicilian lullaby might sound something like this. E pedro sto caro sulla mattina, carroza chiurica carroza chiurica in tagliardino, o in mezzo pilota parino. Perché truccati fisci cristiano, riposa l'acqua, riposa lo vento, riposa la sirena, riposa stu caro son talogli And then when that baby got a little bit bigger and he started to learn to toddle around, his parents might hold him up on the table and let him pat his little feet, and they might sing a song to him that would sound like this. Bambinetto balla, balla, callo, chianna, tutto lutto, un'iposi lutto, piruzzo, nasce un pere di basilico, e gli voghi nera muzza, e la donna toma muzza, non lavo, mettete tu l'upidruzzo to. We had a song for everything. We sang when we fell in love. We sang when we fell out of love. We sang when we went off to work, and we sang when we went off to war. And songs would be passed back and forth at work and at celebrations. And everyone who sang this music would add a little bit of themselves to each moment that they sang. They would add a flourish that would change the song for the next person who would sing it. Every culture that invaded and conquered Sicily would add their own influence to this music. So Sicilian folk music has become a historical record. It's become a snapshot into the soul of a people. I think it's time to go back to the kitchen. Let's check and see how the Panna Cotta is shaping up. After about 5 minutes, the milk and gelatin start to take on a rumpled look, like wrinkly fabric. That's how we know we're ready for the next step. Now we place the saucepan on the burner on low heat. We're not trying to make it very hot. We're not even trying to scald it. We only heat it on low for 2 minutes. Next, add the maple syrup and keep stirring, but you just want to warm it, so this part won't even take about a minute. Now we remove the pan from the heat, but we'll keep stirring as we add in the heavy cream. Once that's thoroughly mixed, we can add in our vanilla extract and our pinch of salt, and then we stir to make sure everything is thoroughly mixed. Once the panna cotta has been thoroughly mixed together and lightly heated, we can ladle it out into our glasses. I use glasses that are about 4 ounces each, and as you can see, I don't fill it all the way, so I get about 8 different servings. If you want a larger portion, fill your container more or use bigger dishes. If you want smaller portions, use small cups. But once you have it all ladled out, we'll pop it in the refrigerator for about 3 to 6 hours until it gets to the consistency that we want. We sit back while the refrigerator does all the work. This song is called Desiderio, and it's a beautiful Sicilian love song. The title means desire. So even though in modern times we're no longer passing songs back and forth as we toil in the fields or at the fountains, music still has a way of circulating. And sometimes it happens at something as simple as a jam session. So this song has a traditional text, and the melody is modern. The melody comes to us from the great musician Alfio Antico. And it was Alfio himself who one night picked up a guitar at a jam session and taught me this song. So when I sing it, you're going to hear me sing the words sospiro and sospirano a lot. And they mean I sigh and I'm sighing, because no matter what I do, all day, every day, I'm only thinking about you. Desiderio. Sospiro, sospirando me vai. Sospiro, se cammino mancio e stai. Sospiro tutti l'ora di giorno. Sospiro quando sonna mansi giorno. Sospiro quando dormo non hai vento. Sospiro quando azzecca fare si giorno. Sospiro bello fino che non ti hai, che un braccio non ti giorno ti furia. di lo toscalino, lo giorno in mente assettata, fossi pietra di lo toscalino, lo giorno in mente assettata. Si mare, soli, luna, cielo e terra, si terra, cielo, luna, soli e mari, fossi pietra di lo toscalino, lo giorno in mente assettata, e fermati per mio, non iri avanti, fermati, non ti stare a rimirarti ma desiderassi nali tovrazza per capire cos'è la contentizia. And I'm only wanting to stay here in your arms so I can know what happiness really is. You've probably noticed these tamburi, the Sicilian frame drums, and understand that when we talk about Sicilian folk music, the tamburo is intrinsic to that tradition. When I first started to learn frame drumming, my dad was over the moon and he said, that's what you should do, that's your tradition. It's something of women. Women drum, it's what women do. And I didn't understand what he was trying to say until I found out that my grandma used to drum and her mother before her was known for her drumming. When my grandmother immigrated to the US, one of the few possessions she brought with her was her tamburo. So I'd like to give you a song that is a Sicilian traditional song. You just sing it voice and drum. This is not a love song. This is a song that we would sing when love doesn't end the way you want it. In fact, just about every verse is an insult. And the refrain has the lover telling his ex, I'm just going to take the love you gave me and I'm going to throw it right back at you. I like to add a verse to this song that is a little bit nicer. And in the verse, I'll sing, when I die and go to heaven, if I don't see you there, well, I just won't go in. And that is a verse that the great Anna Magnani sang in the film Vulcano when she sang this song. And this song is called Ciuri Ciuri. traditions, not just pertaining to the music, but pertaining to things in everyday life. And one of these traditions that really touches me very deeply is the rapport that Sicilians have with the souls of their departed loved ones. So even though we know that they're no longer here with us in the day-to-day physical realm, somehow there is still a connection and we still feel their presence, and they communicate with us and let us know that they still love us. This rapport is celebrated in Sicily on November 2nd. It's a Roman Catholic feast day and it's the Feast of All Souls. But in Sicily it's called La Festa dei Morti, the Feast of the Dead. And there are customs and tradition in addition to the church celebration. So there are things like ossa di morto, which are cookies in the shape of bones that are prepared and eaten at this time. Well-behaved children receive gifts from the souls of their departed loved ones, and these gifts are in the shape of sugar paste statues called pupi di zucchero. And then there was an old tradition where families used to visit either the cemetery or the family crypt on November 2nd, and they would have picnics in the presence of their departed loved ones. So this idea of a celebration with the living and the dead kind of stuck with me, and it made me wonder what it would be like. And I would imagine it would be a night of good company and good counsel, a night of bread and wine and song. And I put that all together in a song that I wrote. And I used as a melody two traditional Sicilian rhythms, a lament and a balletto. Quando sento perso circo mi senti, gioia mia ogni trovo mi senti. Benvenuti al regno dei morti. Sentite, 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 onoravamo i nostri santi. Tra le grida e i picciri ospitavano i nostri morti. Appunto alla tavola picciri festeggiavano i nostri morti. Siamo giunti a salutare alla tavola dei morti. Armi santi, si ti appresti a noi altri. Armi santi, voi altri siete tanti. Siamo mai abbandonati alla tavola dei morti. Siamo in buona compagnia alla tavola dei morti. Armi santi. Armi santi. Pane, vino e consiglio alla tavola dei morti. Unisite cielo cori alla tavola dei morti. Armi santi, si ti appressa a noi altri. Armi santi, voi altri siete tanti. Chitarra e tamburo facciamo una suonata. Cantiamo canzonetti alla tavola dei morti. La 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 armi santi. La 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 armi santi. Tamburo e chitarra facciamo una suonata. Cantiamo canzonetti alla tavola dei morti. This next song comes from Caronia in Sicily, And that is a town that had a very rich tradition of this folk music. And in fact, there was even a folk singer that came from Caronia, and her name was Annunziata Donofrio. Her repertoire was so vast and so important that folklorists and ethnomusicologists who study folk music studied her repertoire. So this is a song that comes from Annunziata's repertoire, and it's in the voice of someone who is in prison. And they actually say that they think they would have been better off having stayed there in prison than having loved their ex. This next song is not a Sicilian song at all. It happens to be an American pop song that was first made famous by the legendary Buddy Holly. He recorded this song in 1958. But there is a Sicilian connection. The sun is out, the sky is blue, there's not a cloud to spoil the view, and it's raining in my heart. The weatherman says clear today, he doesn't know you've gone away, and it's raining my heart. Oh, misery, misery. What's gonna become of me? Become of me? Tell my blues they mustn't show, but soon these tears are bound to flow, and it's raining, raining in my heart. Yeah, it's raining, raining in my heart. This song, like so many beloved American pop songs and beloved American country music songs, was written by that dynamic songwriting duo of Felice and Boudleaux Bryant. And before Felice married Boudleaux and became Mrs. Bryant, she was Matilda Genevieve Scaduto. She was a Sicilian American girl. So it was my pleasure tonight to play this for you, not only to keep her memory alive, but to give her a salute for being such an amazing songwriter, as well as being Sicilian American. Through the magic of editing, we have the finished Panna Cotta. And you can serve it plain like this. You could sprinkle some chopped nuts on top. You could sprinkle some fresh berries or garnish it with fresh fruit slices. Let your imagination run wild. For those purists out there, yes, Panna Cotta typically is unmolded and served on a dish. But I have had a lot of unmolding disasters in the past. So I found that it's so much easier to just prepare it in a really cute little cup and serve it in the same cup that it's prepared in. I leave the unmolding up to the more adventurous people. Thank you for stopping by today. I enjoyed our visit in the kitchen and here in the music room. It was a real thrill for me to sing for you, and I hope you enjoyed hearing this music as much as I enjoyed making it for you. If you have any questions about the songs that you heard today, if you'd like to know more about Sicilian folk music, if you'd like to know when the next concert will be, please visit me at my website at michelamusolino.com. And a hearty thank you to the Montauk Library for this Cuisine Concert series. Hopefully, we will all be together again very soon at the Montauk Library. But until then, everybody at home, stay healthy. Enjoy some wonderful Panna Cotta, enjoy some wonderful music. See you soon.